What is going on to all my Barry blockheads out there, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot back again, breaking down this third season of Barry, episode 6, titled 710N. We're going to talk about what that means a little bit later in review, but oh my goodness, did we just witness maybe the best episode of Barry so far, and that ending. What does it all mean? I am just so excited to be here talking to you all about this episode. We're going to get into all of it here in this spoiler review. But before we get into the discussion, make sure you're checking me out on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to the channel and love early movie reviews, TV breakdowns, and live streams, well, come and join the community today by subscribing and hitting that notification bell. And if you all enjoyed this spoiler review of Season 3 of Barry, Episode 6, well, make sure you're liking this review as well as sharing it to anyone, and I'm talking everyone you know that loves this show just as much as we do. But more importantly, I do these reviews to interact with you all, so let me know your pros, your cons. Did you almost have a heart attack watching this show? How amazing was it? Let's talk about thoughts and theories of what this episode can mean for the final 2 episodes of this amazing third season. Let's have all those discussions in the comment section. So hey, we have a lot to discuss, and my mind is still recovering from what I just saw. Full spoilers ahead. As we open the episode, and I have my notes here, like, excuse me, what did I just witness? As we see Fuchs meeting with Tracy and her motorbike friends, and they're talking about where the hot tub was going to be located. And then the moment happens when I thought they killed Fuchs. He gets shot in the shoulder and the arm, and I'm like, wait. What? Did they just kill him? Of course, we'll talk about him later. He's alive for now, right? But let me know in the comments if you were like me and thinking, yeah, this sounds about right. This looks about right. This is Barry. I mean, someone can literally die, and the show's just like, all right, let's move on to the next one. I thought he was dead. Did you think the same? Let's have those discussions in the comments. And I should have known. I should have known when the episode opens like this. Oh yeah, this is going to be one of those special episodes, and it did not disappoint. As we move on and check in with Albert in this episode, who just can't believe that the Raven was the one responsible for taking out the Bolivians or Fernando, and he says to himself, no, I'm not buying it. Our guy, he has to be highly trained. He has to be ex-military. Thinking of Barry as he goes to Chris's house with his wife. He meets with her. Her name is Sharon. And we learn, he learns in this moment that Barry, the stale Barry, the boring Barry, is an actor. And she's like, you know what? Let's have a get together. Let's come together and talk about old times and just enjoy each other's company. He's like, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Albert was in on that special sauce that we'll talk about a little bit later. But let's transition. Let's take a detour, because I'm not going to lie, the Sally and Jean stuff, I'm like, I don't care, guys. I want to go back to the insanity. But let's check in with Sally in this episode, who is starting to get the idea of maybe starting her own streaming company and having this very deep intellectual conversation with that server at the, Benes at Mitch or whatever it was called, which people were lining around in corners for. First off, I hope we get more of that server in future episodes, because that guy was great. I mean, he was just the therapist for everyone in this episode. But she's starting to think about maybe branching out on her own, but then she gets sucked back in to the streaming service, and they're offering her a new project by the name of New Medusas, which we know was the same show that replaced her show in last week's episode. And she's having this conversation, and they believe that, and this was not only one of the best action-packed episodes, but god damn it, this might have been one of the funniest episodes, because as they're describing how Sally can add some oomph and some and some the noises and the faces, oh my goodness, it was just so goddamn funny. And we see she ultimately agrees to continue to take this job to kind of reframe herself and kind of regain her footing with this Banji streaming service. But again, when she was like, we just want you to add some oomph, and it's like, we don't want you to be like, we want you to be like, oh my goodness, hilarious moment. But let's move on and check in with what's going on with Hank in this episode, who is so screwed as he is also getting advice from this server. And Hank is just like, hey, you want to run this company? And he's like, oh no, I'm good. But we didn't get much of Hank, which he's my favorite character, as I mentioned in my first review. But listen, that server was just dropping knowledge once again. But let's check in with another character in Gene. And he had a little bit of stuff, interesting things going on, which I'm interested to see where they go with this, with Gene being the new host of his Masterclass. More things are just constantly falling in his lap. He gets offered this streaming show to teach other actors how to act. As he attempts to try to make amends with Annie, he offers her, hey, collaborate with me. I'm going to allow you to direct the episodes and let's go 80-20. And she's like, you're BSing me. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give it all to you. You can get all the proceeds, all the profits from the show. And again, I mentioned last week, is this genuine? Is he really trying to make amends for his past sins and transgressions and being just a terrible person to people in his past? Well, I mean, so far it's looking pretty legit. Let me know what you all think of this new Masterclass, and I can just see it now. We're going to probably get some really cool cameos when it comes to that class. And I love the fact, number one, I love the fact that Gene is getting his class back, because that was something I mentioned last week. I miss those classes. I miss being around the actors and all the stuff there. So I assume we might get a taste of it this season, but I would imagine next season we're going to get the class back, which means we're going to probably get, Gene and Sally back together in regards to just seeing other actors who's trying to recreate themselves. I think that's something to look forward to. It got me pretty excited. Let me know what you all think of this masterclass. But hey, let's move on to the more important stuff in this episode. And let's start off with talking about the man of the hour. I'm talking about Barry, as he gets a call from Sharon, who invites him over to this dinner that she's hosting. He accepts, but of course, it's Barry. He's pretty awkward, as he's like, all right, I'll see you later. Love you. Oh, I didn't mean to say love you. I just recently had a breakup. It's just like, Barry, hang up the phone, man. You're just an awkward son of a gun. Again, I was just laughing so much in this episode. But the laughs have now become something more different as we get into the action pieces in this episode. As Barry leaves, and this is, let me go back. I said the action starts. Let me rewind that statement. This might have been one of the funniest voicemails I've ever seen on camera, as he's leaving a apology voicemail to Sally about his recent behavior, and he's doing voice to text in public, and everyone's listening to him. And the stuff he was saying, emoji, hashtag, question mark, period, abusive a-hole, and I was, at this point, I'm dead. I'm dead laughing because it was just so damn funny. But it was in this voicemail that he tells Sally that he doesn't believe he wants to be an actor anymore because he's found his tribes within his vet. So acting no more from Barry, I guess we'll see. Maybe he'll be part of this masterclass if he survives this season. But let's transition over to going back to Fuchs, who, like I said, he isn't dead. He is found by this man who takes him to his family. They patch him up. Fuchs wakes up and just can't believe where he is, and he gets a call, and he's been making this tour to Janice's father. And he's like, at first he thinks to himself, you know what? I need to turn over a new leaf, because I think when he woke up at this farm, number one, I think that he was thinking that he was in some type of heaven, some type of new page of his new life, a new chapter, very similar to when he went to Chechnya and he had his girlfriend and they were on the farm, and he had this kind of tranquility, he had this like kind of new life. I think he was like, you know what? Let me put the BS, let me put the vengeance aside, the revenge aside, and let me just try to live a peaceful life. And he's trying to kind of do this as he's turning over this new leaf. He's talking to the man in his truck, and he's like, I think my daughter wants you to be her boyfriend. He's like, you know what? Maybe we can make that happen. And the guy tells him, and this is the moment of truth, he tells him maybe this is a sign from God. And it's like, you know what? Maybe you're right. And as the guy leaves his truck, he gets another sign from God, and he's back on his revenge tour, his path of vengeance, as he sees an article, the article that we know that Barry gave to Variety about his experience with, Gene. So now he's back on this path, and he's back out to kill Barry, which so far is working to his benefit, because this is where the show takes the turn, and we're transitioning to the end of the episode. We go over to Jermaine and Nick's house, where they see that Barry is, they see a receipt to that beignet by Minch Place, and this is when Barry went from Barry to John Wick. And this is the way I'm going to start describing this show to people. Hey, what's Barry all about? Well, I'm going to get into all the nuances, but I'm just going to flat out say to people, what if John Wick was a comedy? Well, that's Barry, because oh my goodness, this was John Wick all over it. As Tracy and her crew find this receipt, they make their way to Mitch's place, and while they're there, oh my goodness, they pull up to Barry, and it's like, wait, is that the same guy? I think that's him. What should we do? We should shoot him. And we get one of two car chases. We get one of two chases, I say, because now we're in a car, and it's amazing. Barry hits one of them. They go through the windshield. He's like, well, my car's not working. Let me go ahead and take their motorcycle. And again, this is where the title of this episode kind of kicks in. It's referred to as the 710N, which I'm not a car guy. I'm not a motorcycle person. I had to look it up. It's a valve that allows you to turbo the pressure and release. And we saw that sequence is going on, because now we get into the crazy action. He's on the motorcycle. Oh my goodness, shout out to Bill Hader who directed this episode, and we'll talk about his direction a little bit later. But when they're going on the highway, high speed, again, this is I'm watching John Wick 4 right now, is what we're seeing in this episode. He's going down the highway. God, they're like, hey, he's coming your way, get the gun. He shoots him and he misses, and they're like, okay, handoff. And my man flips over. I'm pretty sure he's either dead or he's broken his neck in some type of capacity. Pretty brutal accident. But that's not it. As Barry now, again, he goes through this kind of construction area. I believe the valve is dropped. The 710 in valve falls off because the bike stopped working. They pull up to a dealership. The person's chasing him. They go up the roof of the dealership, start spraying their gun inside the dealership. Meanwhile, this car salesman, who might be another ex-Marine, he's like, I ain't having this shit today. As he grabs his shotgun, shoots the person on the roof. And they're like, oh no, you go, is everyone okay? And they get back up and then they shoot him again. The comedy in this show, the satire nature, the unexpectedness is not a coincidence. I'm wearing Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite films of all time and one of my top 3 Tarantino films. The reason I'm wearing this shirt is because as that movie displayed and as Quentin Tarantino displays as a director, he's one of those directors, and I related to Barry, it's one of those type of experiences where they don't make, how do I phrase this? They don't make it a big deal in regards to the stuff you're seeing. Like, they don't do like this crazy score to inflict some type of emotion on its audience. Like, they just give it to you, right? It's in reality when we're seeing this crazy stuff happens, and this happens in real life. Shit happens. You don't have crane shots and crazy, swooshing in score. It's just seeing all this take place, and seeing that sequence was just spectacular. This was probably the most action. I would say this is up there with season 2 finale. And of course, as I mentioned, one of my favorite episodes, probably my favorite episode of Barry, is season 2, episode 5, the Ronnie and Lily episode. And this is up there. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but oh my goodness, that was just incredible. Let me know your thoughts on that sequence. But now we're starting to, as we, the turbo, this is all the turbo. Now it's time to release and kind of maybe transition to maybe a quieter moment, as we think, as he is still singing. He's made it to his destination. He's at Sharon's house. He is, waiting for everyone to come, and she's all happy to see Barry. They're chit-chatting. Oh, can I get one of those beignets? He's like, yeah. And he's starting to eat it, looks on the table, and what does he know? It's a card from Fuchs, and he looks up at her, and at this point, her whole smiley, happy to see you, Barry, came into a dark, twisted moment. He's like, what did you put in the sauce? I'm gonna kill you now, mother effer. End of the episode. Oh my goodness. We literally talked about it last week. Is Barry gonna die in this season? Because that's why he's directed all 8 episodes, which again, he's been fantastic so far. Every single episode he has directed has been fantastic. And this is another example of that. And as you all can see on the screen now, apparently he's gonna direct the rest of the season, which gets me excited. But I think it's safe to assume I don't think Barry's dead. I think we're going to see some more craziness. He's going to somehow get out of it. I can see it. Again, I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of this video. I believe Albert has something to do with this plan. Now, if Albert's going to have a conversation, a heart-to-heart, and maybe let him go, because it isn't a coincidence that, that Albert might be involved, because I think he's going to end up using Fuchs as his way out. I'm referring to Barry at this point. So I am just so amazed by this episode, and as far as what I expect to see in next week, listen, I don't mean to sound rude to say I don't care about what's going to happen with Sally and Jean next week, but I don't care what's going to happen to them, because I just want to know, what is Barry going to do now? He's poisoned. He's going to be probably paralyzed. He's going to torture him. Maybe some more people going to involve. Again, I'm just so curious of how Barry's going to talk his way out of this situation, if he does at all. But to be fair, I am excited to see what comes of Jean and the whole Masterclass, and him getting other actors and showing them how to act, and maybe Sally getting involved and other actors being involved. That does get me excited, but I'm just so curious on what the hell is going to happen with next week's episode, with Barry being caught now, with Janice's dad being involved, because I forgot to mention Fuchs calls him back after that moment, and he's now involved. So what does that mean for the rest of the show? What happened to Kyle and his mom being shot? Did Kyle survive? Oh, I love this show so much, and I can't wait to discuss next week's episode with you all, which, by the way, friendly reminder, well, not a friendly reminder, this is me announcing this, I won't be releasing episodes 7 and 8 on Sundays as I normally do. I'm going to start releasing them on Monday, probably afternoon, so just to let you all know, if you don't see my review after next week's episode, don't be like, oh, where's the episode review? It'll be available the next day, and I'm honestly, the way I'm feeling about this episode, let me know in the comments. And I do this a lot of frequently on my channel. I do watch-alongs where we watch the episode together and just have a communication and chat about it, and just have an open conversation about the episode. Let me know in the comments by thumbing this up, sharing this video, and if we can get this to over 3,500 views and over 200 likes, we're going to do a watch-along next week. And let me know if that's something you guys would be interested in, and we'll do the watch-along for the finale too. If that's something you guys are interested in, let me know by supporting this video. I love this episode. I thought it was incredibly shot. It was very Quentin Tarantino-esque, and a lot of the stuff in this show as far as unexpectedness is very in that same vein. This is John Wick with the Barry spin to it, and I just love this episode to the core, and I don't want to speak hyperbole so soon, recency bias nature. This might be my favorite episode in the series so far. I don't know. I have to revisit this a few more times to see if that's the case, but I absolutely loved it. But hey, that's my thoughts. I want to know your pros, your cons, your thoughts, your theories, your favorite moments, funniest moments, and everything in between. And again, if you all want to have a watch party for episodes 7 and 8 next Sunday at 9 p.m. Central Time, let me know by supporting this video, sharing it, liking it, commenting, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Come and join this Barry family and have some good times. I appreciate you all watching this review. Hope you enjoyed the review. Hope you're staying safe, as you can see on the screen now. Come and join the community. Check out my other Barry reviews. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.